In this particular session, I want to give certain tips and tricks for those who are appearing for the grade 10th standard, 11th, 12th, or even the competitive exams. So many a times you are faced with certain questions which are in the multiple choice or the objective, wherein you do not want to spend too much of time in finding out the answers. So here is one such a trick, and it is something which comes in most competitive exams, and it definitely comes in your grade 10 or your 12 exams too. So there are two types I'm going to discuss today. So you can see that the very first one is something like this. So you have questions which are square root of a particular number. Here I've taken the example of 12, but it could be any number that is being given. So you have square root of 12 plus square root of 12 plus square root of, so you can see that the number goes on till infinity. You'll have to find the value of that. So it's a very simple trick that you have to do it. You have to basically keep that as x and then square it and then find out. There are various methods. But yes, that's going to take some time. So how do you do this fast is what we are going to discuss today. So this involves 3 steps. Very simple. First step, identify what is that particular number which is there. So it could be root 12 plus root 12, or it could be root of 6 plus root 6 plus root 6, etc. till infinity. Just identify the number. In our case, it is 12 which has been given. So the first step is identify the number, and that we have realized that it is 12 here. Once you have the number, second and the most important step is see if you can find out the factors of it. What do we mean by factors? Suppose it is a number, say 6, that has been given in the question. What are the factors of 6? You will have factors of 6 as 1 and 6. So 1 multiplied by 6 is 6. So 1 is a factor, 6 is a factor. You would have 2 multiplied by 3, which is 6. Again 2 is a factor and 3 is a factor. So like that, for 12, find out the various factors. I've listed it down here. You have 1 into 12, then you have 2 into 6, and then you have 3 into 4. So you have a set of 6 factors. Find out the pair of factors which have a difference of 1. For example, in the first case, for 1 and 12, the difference would be 11. So we are not looking at that. No. So let's look at the second option. 2 and 6, the difference is 4. We are not looking at that too. 3 and 4, the difference is 4 minus 3 is 1. So this is the set of factors that we are looking at. Very simple. Once you have identified this, all that you have to do is look at the question once again. If the question has got root of 12 plus root 12, you have the plus sign, then of the set of factors that you have found out now, which is 3 and 4, you have to choose the biggest number. So as I told you, step 1 was look at the number. Step 2 is identify the factors and find out the one which has the difference being 1. And third step is you identify in the question if it is the sign which is plus here. You could have had root of 12 minus root of 12 minus minus, etc. But if it is plus, you will look at the bigger number and then the factor is 4. If it is minus, then you will look at the smaller factor. So here in the multiple choice, you can pick out 4. I have taken so much of time to explain it to you, but you can do it in a jiffy. Now, not always will you get questions which have got factors. You may also get questions which do not have factors. When I say do not have factors, it could be a prime number, or you will not have factors which have got the difference of 1, etc. Let me take one more example. It need not have to be just a smaller number like what I told you. You could have various numbers. It could be maybe a 3-digit number of root of 110 plus root of 110, etc. Again, look at the factors, because you will have various factors, 55 multiplied by 2, and then you will come to 11 into 10. And then if there is a plus sign, you will find out. As I told you, it belongs to the type first one which we discussed, or the type A. Now we are looking at the type B. So where we do not have the factors, and this is an example which I have taken. So here you have root of 17 plus root of 17, etc., etc. So step 1, we will look at that particular number which is there. Does it have factors? No, it doesn't have factors. It is only 1 and 17 which are the factors. It is a prime number. So then you have a very simple formula that you will follow. The answer is nothing but root of 4a plus 1 divided by 2. Now, what is A? A is any number that has come inside that particular root. So, here we have root of 17. So, here in our case, A is 17. Why did we go to that particular formula? Because we saw that the factors of 17 are nothing but only 1 and 17. It's a prime number. Since we do not have factors which come under type A, which we just now discussed, we will use this formula, which is 4A plus 1 under the square root divided by 2. So here you will have 4 multiplied by 17 plus 1 divided by 2. So 4 multiplied by 17 will give you 68 plus 1 is the root of 69 by 2. Remember, that is not your answer. You will have to go back like we did in the step 3 of the earlier type to see if this is a plus sign or a minus sign. So here we have this as a plus sign. So we will have this as root of whatever we have arrived here as root 69 divided by 2. Since it was a plus sign, we will add 1 to it and divide it by 2. Assume this was a minus sign, then all that you do is root of 69 minus 1 divided by 2. But here, since we had the plus sign, so this is the answer. You can go to the multiple choice and take the correct answer. How long did it take? Hardly a few minutes, right? And objective type questions, you need to invest less time to do it. There are also times when you will have, for example, root of 17 plus, you will have a root of 17 minus root of 17 plus. So you will have the signs being plus, minus, plus, minus. It could come in that particular way. And for that particular type of question, all that you have to do is to remember here what did we do? We had a root of 4a plus 1 as the formula. If you have alternating, saying it is a plus sign and a minus sign, and then what you need to do, etc. For example, if it is a question like this, a plus and a minus, etc. Your trick or your solution is going to be square root of 4a minus 3 divided by 2. It is square root of 4a minus 3 divided by 2. And remember, after you get the answer, and what is your a? Here in this case, again, it is 70. So you will have square root of 4 multiplied by 17 minus 3 divided by 2. And don't stop there. Like last time we had done plus or minus depending on the sign. But here it is alternating. So what do? Just look at the first sign. If it is plus here, you will have a plus 1. So square root of 4a minus 3 plus 1 by 2. This is going to be the answer for a question which has got the plus sign as the very first sign. Suppose this were a minus sign first and then plus and then alternating. Here you will have square root of 4a minus 3 minus 1 divided by 2. So any question that is being given will fall under definitely these 3 types as I told you. Type 1 where you find out the factors, and if there is a difference of 1, immediately you pick up the bigger one if the sign is plus which is given across. If the sign is minus which is given across, choose the smaller factor. Type 2 is when you find that there are no factors which have a difference of 1, and it could also be a prime number, etc. All that you do is find out the square root of 4a. Remember, what is your a is something which is given in the number here. So whatever is the number is the number which is, we call it as a here. So it is nothing but 4a plus 1 divided by 2. Doesn't stop there. Look at the sign here. If it is plus, you add 1. So it is 4a plus 1 which comes separately, and then you divide it by 2. And if it is a minus sign, you will do 4a plus 1 minus 1 divided by 2. That's the trick. And type 3 would be when you have alternating signs. Your formula is nothing but 4a minus 3 divided by 2, and find out what is the very first sign. If it is plus, you add 1. If it is minus, you subtract 1. And that's the answer. So I hope you try out these tricks and make sure that you save up on the time, and all the time that you save it up, make sure you spend it on your subjective type of questions, and do a lot of revision of your answer script with the intention that is there any particular mistake that I've made. See, generally when you go through, when you're revising, you say, yeah, I've finished this is okay, this is okay. Do not do that. Do it with the intention that I need to find out a mistake and go through it stepwise mentally and see. And that's when your revision pays off and you will be able to avoid those silly mistakes which you tend to make. So go through that process once again, whether it is a multiplication or a division, etc. So these kind of tips and tricks are to help you to revise your paper and make sure that you do not make any silly mistakes or you correct those silly mistakes that you have made. Thank you and all the very best for your examinations.